Hi everybody, I'm Mallory and I'm a nutrition instructor with Eat Smart Idaho. Thank you all for coming here today to talk about food with me. Let's just hop right into things. So today we are going to discuss how to make smart food choices and build a healthy plate. We will also talk about how healthy choices in physical activity come together to help maintain a physically active and healthy body. We will also talk about ideas for healthy meals on a budget. After our discussion, we'll hop right into the kitchen and whip up a tasty, quick, and satisfying meal on budget. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint with you. All right, so let's talk about our responsibilities around the house. We might be taking care of a child or a grandchild, cooking, paying bills, cleaning the house, or we could be doing all of them and more. So I want you to think about your foods you eat in the same way you think about your house responsibilities. All of your house responsibilities are all important in different ways. Now, this is the same with your food. All of the food groups and varieties of foods are all important in different ways. We need them all to maintain a healthy body. Grains, fruits, vegetables, proteins, dairy, they are all foods that have different yet important jobs. So, today we're going to be looking at MyPlate. You may remember the My pyramid with the little guy running up the side. That's the same idea, except this is a way that we can visualize it on our plates every day. So this MyPlate tool, it reminds us how to eat smart. We are going to be choosing from different food groups at each meal, every day, and it's going to tell us how we eat smart by using our plate to choose a variety of healthy foods each day. Now, our bodies get energy from that food that we eat, and then we use that energy to function and move every day. It reminds us that we need a balance. We'll talk about more of this later. Now, let's look at how we can use this plate to eat smart. One of the best and easiest ways is to choose a variety of healthy foods each day by picking from each of these colored food groups: fruits, vegetables, grains, protein, and dairy. Now, what do we notice specifically? What jumps right out to us when we look at this plate? It might be that fruits and vegetables are half of the plate. So just keep this in the back of your mind while we're talking about it. Let's jump right into this MyPlate. So talking about grains. Grains include foods such as breads, pasta, rice, tortilla, cracker, cereal. And about 1/4 of your plate is going to be grains. Now, grains, especially whole grains, are important because they provide fiber and B vitamins. Fiber is helpful to lower your cholesterol, lessen your risk of heart disease, and it also helps to maintain a healthy digestive tract and prevent constipation. Now, B vitamins, they help your nervous system to stay healthy. And folic acid, a specific B vitamin, is especially important for prior to and during pregnancy to prevent birth defects. Now, how much do we need? What is it going to look like on our plate? The goal is 6 ounces of grains each day. Now, 1 ounce of grain is comparable to 1 slice of bread or half of a bun or half of a bagel. I eat the whole bagel, so that's 2 ounces right there out of my 6 ounces a day. 1 ounce could also look like half a cup of cooked pasta, rice, oatmeal, grits, or 1 cup of dried cereal. Now, we talked a little bit about whole grain, but we really want to make at least half of your grains whole grain. So this can get a little tricky if we're in the grocery store trying to find whole grains. So the keywords I want you to be looking for are whole wheat, whole oats and oatmeal, whole grain corn, popcorn, brown rice, whole rye, whole grain barley, wild rice. So all of these, what they have in common is that it's the whole seed. It's not processed down into white flour, for example, or cookies and pastries. So remember, it's important because it has more fiber and B vitamins. So when we're looking for foods in the grocery store, we want to look for whole grain as the first ingredient listed. So let's look at these 2 breads. They look similar. They're both brown. They both say wheat, but the one on the left, it says 100% whole wheat. That's what we're looking for. The first ingredient listed is stone ground whole wheat. That's 100%, that's great. Now the one on the right, it says enriched wheat flour. That's not 100% whole grain. Now, I want you to think about this when in the store, and when possible, choose whole grains whenever you can. Let's hop into the vegetable category. Great, lots and lots of colors. So the vegetable group includes things like carrots, spinach, tomatoes, squash, broccoli. That's just a few. There's tons of different vegetables out there. Now, people get confused about peas and beans. Those are vegetables, but they're also a part of the protein group because they contain a high percentage of protein. So most adults need about 2.5 cups of vegetables per day. Now, what does this look like on your plate? 1 cup is about 1 cup of cooked or raw vegetables. And if you're eating leafy greens, such as spinach or kale or lettuce, you're going to want to measure out 2 cups of raw leafy greens to equal 1 cup of your 2.5 cups daily servings. Now that kind of makes sense because if you're having a salad, you don't want just 1 cup of lettuce. You want like a full salad. All right. So I mentioned a little bit about colors and how I liked that the vegetable group is just beautifully colored. Now, we love these colors because vegetables provide many nutrients and minerals to help your body stay healthy. Some of these vitamins and minerals include fiber, potassium, folate, vitamin A, vitamin C, and antioxidants. Eating a diet rich in these vegetables can help reduce your risk of heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, and even some forms of cancer. Now, they're great and packed full of nutrients, but there's another benefit. They're low in fat and calories, so the more the better. So if you're struggling to get in some vegetables, I want you to be focusing on dark green, red, and orange vegetables specifically. Now, just a reminder to thoroughly wash your vegetables with cold water, cold and clean running water, and keep those stored away from raw poultry or fish. And let's talk about forms of vegetables. Now you can have them fresh, frozen, or canned. All suitable sources, all great, full of nutrients. The thing I want you to think about with canned, though, is to look for those low sodium or no salt added cans. And if they do have salt, or even if they don't, you want to drain those cans and rinse the vegetables really well to remove any excess sodium. So let's move on to fruit. Fruit is also one of my favorites. Fruit group includes things like apples, oranges, bananas, melons, and berries. Like vegetables, fruit provides vitamins, minerals, and fiber that help to keep your body healthy. Specifically, fruits have a really great source of potassium, vitamin C, and folate. And we need to have a goal of about 2 cups of fruit per day. More is okay. I usually eat more because I love fruit. So what does that look like on your plate? About 1 cup of fruit out of your 2 cups daily is equal to 1 fist-sized piece of fruit. So like a medium apple or an orange. 1 cup could also equal just 1 cup of cut up fruit, either fresh, canned, or frozen, or a half a cup of dried fruit, or 8 ounces of 100% fruit juice. But be careful to limit that because it does take out that fiber that is really important for digestion. Just like vegetables, we want to watch out for those canned fruits. So in canned fruits, I want you to look for things that aren't packaged with added sugar. Maybe look for fruit that is packaged in its own fruit juice or water as opposed to syrups. And whenever possible, get the fresh fruit. Usually the fresh fruit is less expensive when it's in season. So right now it's about berry season, my favorite, and those will be a lot less expensive. But frozen, canned, and fresh, all great, all provide great nutrients. All right, let's move on to dairy. So dairy group, it includes foods such as milk, yogurt, and cheeses. Dairy foods contain a lot of vitamins and minerals, such as calcium, potassium, protein, and vitamin D. Calcium helps keep your bones and teeth strong. Vitamin D helps that calcium to build and maintain strong bones. And potassium helps to decrease bone loss. Protein helps your body to build muscle. And we need to get about 3 servings of dairy per day. So what does that look like? About 1 serving of dairy is about 1 cup of milk or yogurt, or 1/3 cup of shredded cheese, or 1.5 ounces of natural cheese, or 2 ounces of processed cheese, or 1/4 cup of tofu, because it does have fortified calcium in it. Now, when we're looking for dairy for ourselves and our families, we're looking for low-fat or fat-free dairy products, such as 1% milk fat or low-fat or reduced fat. Those are the keywords we're looking for. And the reason is because these products, these low-fat products, have the same amount of nutritional value and calcium as the full fat, but just with less calories and less fat. Now, if you're someone who can't tolerate dairy, which a lot of us are, we can look for things such as lactose-free milk, or fortified soy milk, or calcium-added cereals, or my favorite, dark leafy greens. It's Calcium is naturally found in dark leafy greens. It's amazing. Nature is just incredible in that way. So that was it for dairy. Let's move on to protein. The protein group includes things like animal sources and plant sources. Some examples are beef, poultry, pork, fish, dried beans and peas, eggs, nuts, and seeds. These are all great sources of protein. So foods in this group provide not only protein, it provides vitamins and minerals. In most of us, we get enough protein in our diet. It's not a matter of we need to add more protein usually. That's not usually the case. So on average, adults need about 5.5 ounces of protein each day. Now, what does that look like on our plate? About 1 ounce is 1 egg, or 1/4 cup of cooked beans, or 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, or 1/2 ounce of nuts and seeds, or 1 ounce of meat, poultry, or fish. And we want to eat a variety of these sources. So just a little bit further information about portioning. About 3 ounces of protein of meat is the size of your palm. So think about that when you're eating a burger, for example, or a piece of chicken. That's almost half of your daily protein that you need. So keep this in mind when you're adding up your protein throughout the day. Another thing we want to think about is what types of meat are we eating? We want to choose more lean meats. And this might look like removing the skin from poultry or choosing lean meats, 90% lean ground beef. And then we also want to think about how we're preparing these foods. Are we frying them and adding more fat and more calories than we need? Or should we be leaning more towards baking or broiling our meats? And usually we want to lean more towards the baking and broiling for sure. Now, on to the non-meat sources of protein. Beans and peas, they're a great source of protein, vitamins, minerals, and fiber. All of that wrapped into one little non-expensive bean is amazing. And they're naturally low in fat. So this is a great alternative to meat. Or if you're looking for more variety in your protein sources, to add in some more beans and a little bit less meat sometimes. All right, so we've talked about MyPlate and how to use it to eat smart. But remember, that's only half of staying healthy. The other half is physical activity. We need balance. We need balance between what we eat and how we use that energy. So let's take a quick break and we're gonna do some side leg raises to give you an idea of physical activity you can do with you and your family. So I'm gonna stand up here. You're probably not going to be able to see my legs very much, so I'll just show you my face. But we're going to get a chair, right about here. Get a chair, stand behind it, hold on to it, have your feet hip width apart, and raise your leg off to the side. And do this about 10 times, slowly breathing. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. All right, take a second and then switch legs. Same thing, 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, that was great. Thanks for participating with me. Bringing it back up. So, what do you guys think of that? Is that something you could add into your day? Maybe with you and your family as a quick work break if you're working from home. All right, so we need to find our balance. So think about this. What do physical activity and eating have in common? Is energy. So we get energy from food, and then we use or expend that energy by moving our body or doing physical activity. So what happens if we eat more energy than we use? You'll likely gain some weight. All right, so how much activity do we need each day? It's 30 minutes, believe it or not. And it doesn't have to be hard either. It just has to get your heart rate up, get you moving, get you breathing a little bit faster. And it doesn't have to be all at one time either. It could be done in 10-minute intervals 3 times. So, generally speaking, the more physical activity you do, the more benefits you get. So if you do more than 30 minutes a day, great. If you do higher intensity activity each day, great. But definitely do what's best for you and where you're at right now. So additionally, children, they need 60 minutes each day. They have a lot more energy. They need to keep moving. So it's great to think about family activities that you all can do together, such as playing activities indoors, going on a family walk, a bike ride, anything that fits your needs. Now, this beef stir-fry recipe is so great. You have it in your handout, so you'll be able to make this at home with you and your family. And it's great because it includes many of the MyPlate groups, and it's so versatile. Whatever you have in your refrigerator, you can just add it in. It's great. So I hope that you can play around with that and have some fun. And you can also double or triple whatever the batch and have those as lunches. Great idea. So after all of that, after talking about MyPlate, eating smart, moving more, some physical activity, what is one change you will make with your family? And I want you to write that down on your handout or on a piece of paper. Really give it a moment to think about it. Now that you've thought about it, what will make this hard for you and your family? Maybe it's time constraint or whatever it may be. What is it? And then think about how you will overcome this. I want you to write both of these things down right under your goal. And I want you to come back to it maybe sometime and really think about what works for you and your family. Great. So then, what are some things that we learned today? We learned that we should be choosing a variety of healthy foods each day, and that we can find our balance between food and physical activity. So I mentioned previously making a large batch of a meal and then having those for leftovers. That is my number one takeaway for making healthy, smart lunches on a budget. Repurposing those ingredients for something else, such as if you're using carrots for a soup, and then you also are using carrots for a stir fry. Preparing those at the same time, great idea. Another great idea to save some money is to have your own single serving size snacks. So you probably all know that those little serving size pretzels, those are way more expensive than a bag of pretzels, a big bag, family bag even, of pretzels. So buying that big bag, portioning them out into little bags, snack bags, that's great to save some money. And you can do that same thing with cut up fresh fruit or vegetables or crackers or anything that you can separate out into smaller portions. The other idea I have for you is fresh fruit. Fresh fruit is a great snack, great side dish to anything. Grabbing an apple, grabbing a banana, those are really low cost fruits. As you can see on this handout, there's all of these ideas I want you to look through. Nuts and seeds and granola bars and rice crackers and cereals. Those are great ideas for snacks, for lunches. Another thing you can think about if you have access to a refrigerator is meat sandwiches, vegetable sticks such as celery, carrots, peppers. You can do yogurt, cottage cheese, 100% juice or milk. So those are just some really quick ideas I have for you. Now, I would love to have you watch this video. Wasn't that easy? I thought that was really easy and simple and a great idea for a large family or for a lot of leftovers. Either way, great idea. Lots of food, on a low cost and small budget. So I hope this helped you guys. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you talk about this with your family. Ask them what their favorite vegetable is. Maybe ask your kids to pick out the brightest colored vegetable or fruit they can find. So I hope you had a good time. Thank you all for coming. Bye.